Going to go ahead and call the April 22nd board meeting to order and ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, man. All right. I'll ask the deputy clerk to call the roll, please.
Trustees Saturn.
Present.
Ingraffia.
Present.
Newardowski, sorry about that.
Present.
Keenly.
Present.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Present. While he's not a voting member, I think it's probably just a good idea, good form to vote to allow George to participate telephonically. George, if you want to just share with the board, I mean, whatever you'd like to about the reason you could not be here today.
Yeah, I'm on my way driving back to Chicago right now. I was visiting my daughter down in St. Louis for Easter, and this morning she had a very severe abdominal pain, and so we had to take her to the emergency room, and she's having her gallbladder taken out tomorrow. She's only 25. So I'm driving back. My wife is staying down here. So I expected to have been back hours ago, but I'm still I'm about a third of the way back. So I just asked if I could pay attention, if I could listen to the meeting.
So that's obviously a qualified reason to participate telephonically. So if I could have a motion to allow George to participate in that way. Made a motion. Motion made by Trustee Ingraffia, seconded by Trustee Newardowski. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, public comment?
Thank you, everyone, for working for Elk Grove Township. Down with property tax. And is the website address elkgrovetownship.com?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this recording is it online anywhere?
It is on YouTube, and we provide a link on our website to the YouTube channel.
Oh, because I looked for it and I could not find it. Where is it?
If you just go to YouTube and type in Elk Grove Township, all the board meetings will come up.
You don't even
And
have to do
it's
that.
also on our main page. Our main page, there's a link.
Where about on the main page?
Is it on the left-hand side? Is it on
It's
the
about
left corner?
halfway down or more, and it says Township board meetings online, and then it has a click for the YouTube every
All right, I'll
board
look
day.
for it.
Yeah,
Thank
it's only the board meeting dates. It's not special meetings or anything like that.
Thank you. Okay, any other public? Seeing none. All right, item D, consent agenda. Are there any items the board would like to remove from the consent agenda?
No, actually, I just have a comment about the warrant there.
Sure.
Yeah, there was just one item on the warrant there.
Okay.
That there was no check present.
The check number and the vendor?
72250 RPP Enterprises.
Okay, that's the employment
Employment center,
service.
yep.
Employment center.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to, so there was not an invoice, and I know there is one, we'd have to track it down, so you want to remove it and approve it next month?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so can I have a 72251, was it?
72250.
50. All right. Okay, so without objection, we'll remove item, the invoice for check 72250 from the consent agenda. Is there any objection?
No.
No.
Okay, any further discussion about the consent agenda? Okay, with that item removed, to be discussed at a later date, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Saturn,
Second it.
seconded by Trustee Newardowski. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Saturn.
Aye.
Trustee Newardowski.
Aye.
Trustee Ingraffia.
Aye.
Trustee Keenly.
Aye.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. All right, discussion and potential action on approval of the minutes. You have the March 25th board meeting and the April 15th, 2019 special board meeting.
The only thing on the March 25th meeting, the last sentence says hearing instead of meeting.
Okay,
So that's the only thing I saw.
all right. Any other suggested changes? Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes individually or together with that change.
So moved.
Okay, together? Approve them together?
Yes.
So trustee Saturn made a motion to approve both sets of minutes with the change of the one word at the for the March 25th board meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Nordowski. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. No presentations, reports. Starting with the assessor, you have her, I think there's her report and some additional, a letter or two. I think there's one letter from a taxpayer. I'd encourage you to reach out to Connie if you had any questions about her report. The clerk's report, I don't know if you have a copy in front of you, George, if there's anything you want to add, or I can just highlight your report.
No, I think there's just one for you. So, and if you have any questions, Paul can address that.
It was, yeah, I think that was last month.
No,
Was
it's-
it last
it's
month?
coming.
Oh, it's coming.
We just
It
got
didn't
it.
make it to this report.
Okay.
So yeah, just, yeah, the items about the posting the financial reports. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, any
There's nothing special.
okay, any questions for George?
No.
Okay. Highway Commissioner's report. Art?
I'd like to apologize for the mix-up in the report. We put the wrong one in this month, and you have the corrected one in front of you. And I'm happy to announce that we actually started the work on the highway, on the roads today. Our engineer, Mark Thole, and I met with Builders Paving last week, and I think the sewer work's scheduled to start on Thursday this week. So hopefully in a few weeks, this will be wrapped up.
Does that mean you get the permits?
Yeah.
Okay, good, great.
They actually got an email that afternoon of the annual town meeting that we hadn't, or the next morning, I think it was, something like that, so that the engineer wrapped it up within a day or so of that, so. And what, did you have an estimated timeline?
I don't really know for sure because most of the work, underground work is almost done.
Okay,
I'm gonna say maybe 2 weeks at the most,
okay,
maybe.
great. Fantastic. Any questions for Art? Okay, thanks, Art. Okay, there's no correspondence. Okay, so under old business, the remodel project of Elk Grove Township, the 600 Landmeyer building. So this is kind of just a catch-all. I wanted to kind of get you up to speed with where we're at, and I needed to open some discussion on some next steps. And so with that, kind of let you know that the engineer, the architect, Jason, the attorney, you know, just looking to see which bids are qualified. Hopefully we'll have that in the next couple weeks. Obviously, just ensuring that we have those that are qualified, and then we'll know which ones are the actual responsible bidders. We're required to accept the lowest responsible bidder. That being said, we need to discuss.
55 north is on the right.
No, it's not.
All right. Discussing, we need to discuss financing, obviously. So this is the biggest part of where I need to know and get an idea of where the board wants to go. So we have two sets after conversations with Jason about the proceeds of the sales and exchanges. We have cash proceeds amounting to $1.056 million. We also have proceeds in equity on the new building. We're actually in the process with insurance and other things getting an appraisal on the new building anyway. based on the market value of the Chelmsford property of $2 million. Any value of which we believe there is, say significant, but I'll use that word anyway. There is substantial proceeds beyond that 2 million in the 600 Landmeyer building. So anything above that 2 million would be considered proceeds. So the question is, what I'm asking is if the board would want me to go down the road of exploring accessing that equity through a loan to cover not only the additional, say the lowest bid, assuming it's responsible, was 1.153 million and change, to pay that difference plus allow for any contingencies and to pay the interest on the loan. So that's one way to go. And so I could explore that. Any loan would be approved at a later date. You wouldn't be giving me permission to do anything other than explore options to bring back to the board to approve. Other than that, the options are to kind of go through a rebidding process, try to identify, drill down on what the most costly aspects of the current project is, determine if we want to scale anything back, and go that route. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I wanted to open it up to discussion. But like I said, if we wanted to access the proceeds of that equity in the new building, you know, we'd have to do that to be able to cover the cost of at least the current bids that we have now, assuming that one of them are qualified. So with that, I'll open it up for discussion.
Would it make any sense to use any of our reserves for the difference?
It's a really good question. So logistically, I think we need to leverage the building, and I can go back and talk to Jason because it was a question that had come up about doing that because we would have the money in reserves. But logistically, I don't know if we have to take out the loan and actually leverage the building, and then how fast we paid back the loan would be up to the board. The board could make a determination to pay back the loan immediately. But as of right now, and like I said, I can check with Jason, but is my understanding we would probably have to directly leverage the building initially, and then we could address the repayment from there to save on interest or whatever the case might be. Any other questions?
So it sounds like we should probably at least look into the loan,
Okay.
right?
Thoughts on that? Like I said, it's one of these things where it's like you're not saying yes to anything else other than, you know, this is an option for me to be able to come back and say, look, this is what the market will allow for us to lend. In that time, we'll have time to have the individuals qualify the loans. I can ask Jason about whether or not we can borrow from reserves, or not really borrow, but spend from reserves if that's a way to go about it, so we can get these questions answered. That way, at least we can lay out all the options, and then if it's not something we want to do, then of course we can revisit the actual plan and rebid it.
Those are really fair questions, but I think that there's some worth in that building above and beyond, which I think would count as proceeds, and maybe that would be our best bet insofar as exploring that particular end of it. And again, it would have to depend on how much we would actually be able to borrow or have to borrow.
Yeah, no, and that's Jason's opinion as well, obviously, because we were dealing with exchanges and sales, that would be considered. Obviously, we'll know more when we get the actual appraisal, which we do anyway, so that we know. But like I said, we anticipate just from individuals like Steve Stoner that to cover at least the lowest bid that we have now plus contingencies, there would be sufficient equity. Obviously, we would have to confirm that. We're going to the same appraisal company that was that was spot on with the 3 properties that we had, so we can be rest assured that they do good work and they're accurate. And then, like I said, there'll just be more options for the board to consider, so. Well, if I could have a motion to pursue the appraisal on 600 Landmeyer and possible loan of the equity above $2 million, I would entertain that motion.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Saturn, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Ingraffia. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Satter,
Aye.
trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
trustee Ingraffia,
Aye.
trustee Keenly,
Aye.
supervisor Sweeney.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. All right, no new business, we have executive session, it's that time of year, actually, we're running a little bit late this time of year, but if I can have a motion to move into executive session to discuss employee compensation.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Saturn, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Nuredowski. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll be back shortly. Okay, gonna go ahead and call the April 22nd board meeting back to order. 7:27. Okay, so coming out of executive session, discussing employee compensation, I would ask for a motion to approve a 5% increase for senior bus driver Ellen Cromick, along with a $5,000 increase in the salary of Administrator Paul Piak. In addition, a 2% base increase for all employees outside of the Assessor's General Assistance Office and the Highway Department, and with the allowance of an additional 2% for merit, up to 4%, and that anything above 4% would be reviewed and approved by the board. Would someone be willing to make that motion?
That would be for a total of 4%.
For a total of 4%, and then anything above that, before it would be granted, would be presented to the board for approval.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by trustee Saturn, seconded by trustee Ingraffia. Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Trustee Saturn,
Aye.
trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
trustee Ingraffia,
Aye.
trustee Keenly,
Aye.
supervisor Sweeney.
Aye. Okay. There being no further business, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Saturn,
Second it.
seconded by trustee Nuredowski. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.